Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. As you can see, I'm currently in the middle of doing a side project and I am not at my normal location. So the next couple of reviews, if you see my closet background, just don't be alarmed. With that out of the way, today I'm going to be reviewing Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. 3 years after the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, both creatures now are guardians of different parts of the Earth. Godzilla keeping the Titans in tow, while Kong is in the Hollow Earth, working with Monarch to help advance technology to fight the Titans. Suddenly, more and more secrets are revealed. Now with new creatures having awoken, it's up to Godzilla and Kong to work together to save the Earth. So looking at the full scope from A to Z of the legendary run of Godzilla, it's been fairly hit or miss. Which, to be fair, Godzilla is always hit and miss, so, that's not that shocking. I wouldn't necessarily call this a horrible movie. I wouldn't even necessarily call this really a awful movie in general. But I think the problem is Godzilla Kong had a lot of pacing issues. Issues that kind of detracted from the story, that kind of just... You saw things in Godzilla Kong that you felt could have been cut. The side story with Millie Bobby Brown's character, the weird addition to... It was just kind of random. It was just kind of out of left field. It went from being a Godzilla vs. Kong movie, a straight-up movie that we all wanted to see, to essentially being a Godzilla vs. Kong, eventually teaming up and fighting Mechagodzilla at the very end. So it was just a really mixed bag, and it felt like you couldn't really tell where it was going with the direction. With that movie out of the way, though, this movie had a fresh start. This movie can take that last movie and do something different with it. It didn't do that. If anything, it almost copied it, except switched the roles from Godzilla as primary to Kong as primary, focusing more on Kong after the battle. Apparently there's a whole giant army of Kong in the center of the Earth that no one knew of or heard of, despite acknowledging that Kong was the only one of his kind, and seeing a baby Kong, and it was... I mean, granted, seeing baby Kong was kind of cool. Son of Kong, I guess. I don't really have a name. I think they had a name for him, I just can't remember what it is. But to have the big bad be just another ape felt kind of stupid for me. But, I mean, granted, it had an ape and another monster, which I was like, okay. But my biggest issue is it's called Godzilla Kong. Godzilla barely is in the movie. The movie's about an hour 45, about 2 hours. Godzilla doesn't even show up until the first hour in. Where's Godzilla? I mean, it's called Godzilla Kong. The other problem is, and I hate saying this, Millie Bobby Brown's character, while being kind of generic, was at least engaging more than this other lot of characters who are so paint by numbers you really could just take them out of any singular sci-fi channel show and just chuck them on here. No one would tell the difference. It has so many issues with it. When they decided to change Godzilla's color of his power into pink, which I'm not even offended by it. I'm just confused by it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's been a theory for years that the reason Godzilla's power, or when he does the blast, is blue is because, well, he's from the ocean. He protects the ocean. He's born of the ocean. The ocean is blue, hence the blue. The pink, only reason I could think of is, oh well, this will make a cool toy, I guess. Which, granted, I've seen the toy; it is pretty cool, but it's like, okay. And then this evil older ape also has a pet ish other monster who, fun fact, that monster was actually supposed to be in the original 70s Godzilla, and there actually is some principal footage of that, but they cut it for time and felt it was unnecessary as a character. So Toho essentially scrapped the character and never put it on film. And kudos to Legendary for pulling out something that crazy. The problem is I think at this point with Legendary of their runs of Godzilla, it's now come to a point where you can add not so much cheese as just a little more on the goofiness, but not too much. I think I can speak safely for a lot of people in the Godzilla fandom. I may be an outlier here, but how crazy. If you really want to go full crazy, bring in Jet Jaguar. If you know, you know. That would be hilarious and epic and fun, and people would be like, what the hell? I mean, you've already gone this far, you might as well. But comparatively to the last movie, it was superior. Despite my issues with it, this one has a lot worse pacing. Granted, the final fight was a lot better. I think the final fight was a lot more interesting in an intriguing way. And there were some elements I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty fun. It just took forever to get to it. And unfortunately, that does affect the overall end result of the film as a whole. I give Godzilla Kong the New Empire 2.5 out of 5. Have you seen Godzilla Kong the New Empire? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'll see you next time.